Marlo Oaks, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here, Glenn.
Thank you very much. And thank you for alerting me to this. This is horrifying. This is a new SEC proposal to allow for a creation of a new type of company. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so basically a natural asset company. And really the heart of the problem is that it will permanently stop economically essential activities like grazing, mineral extraction, modern agriculture. It could severely curtail recreational access. We're basically talking about the destruction of rural America. And really, it's an effort to take control of America's natural resources. This could be done through these natural asset companies from hostile nations that put money into these. And we're essentially placing a value on natural processes, things like, the biological systems that provide clean air, water, food, things like that, putting an economic value on those. It's really an arbitrary value, it represents a massive transfer of wealth.
This is just another scam. This is another financial scam to make people a lot of money. But this one, unlike the scams that cost us, almost our freedom last time in 2008, this one actually, if it goes through, if you buy, let's say, this stock in this company, you then can you would be giving the money to buy up the rights of all the minerals and even like the air, and you can't develop it because it's a forest and there's lots of clean air that's being generated, right?
That's exactly right. And so basically the New York Stock Exchange went to the Securities and Exchange Commission and said, we need a rule that will allow us to list companies whose purpose isn't to make money, it's to provide ecological services. And what are those ecological services? Well, it is the biological systems that are creating clean air. So think of a forest, right? Taking carbon out of the air and converting it into oxygen. What is that worth? What are underground aquifers worth? The water that seeps through the ground and creates clean water. It's those kinds of what we think of God-given processes that are now going to be monetized in some way. And people who own these companies, who put money into these companies, they stand to benefit from that at the expense of our country.
So now let's say I'm a landowner and I have farmland and I have forest. Do I participate in this? Do I have to say, yes, my everything is up for sale? Or is this just kind of like air rights in New York where you're just buying the rights of air?
Well, there's as we know from ESG, the climate crisis is really driving the ESG, environmental social governance discussion. It's the same thing here. And there is a push, really an attack on energy and agriculture.
Right.
And so when we look at agriculture, we're seeing the squeezing of ranchers and farms, and these natural asset companies ban what's called industrial agriculture, which is essentially all agriculture that happens around the globe, because that's what produces the yields that are needed to feed the world population. And so if you ban industrial agriculture, you're talking about something that happened in Sri Lanka, which was the reduction of rice harvest 40 to 50%, leading to an 80% increase in prices there. It led to civil unrest, unbelievably, there, and that's what we're talking about.
So let me have a very Western conversation with you. Most people in the East, they don't understand BLM land, and that is not Black Lives Matter. That is Bureau of Land Management. They own in the West a great portion of the land that farmers use to graze their cattle on, because it's just open land. You pay a fee and you can graze your cattle on that land. And the government's supposed to take care of it. This company, this new natural asset company, would then not take control of the land, right? It would just say no grazing cattle on that land because we need it pure for the carbon offset or whatever. And so it would grab that. But could it grab my land if I'm a farmer?
Well, it could be inside of a designated area. So right now in Montana, there are 5 million acres are they're trying, the federal government, I've forgotten which agency it is, has designated 5 million acres. They're trying to create a national monument out of this, and there's private land within that. And so your land could be inside of a designated area, and the government wouldn't necessarily buy your land, but you're going to end up with fewer options.
Yeah, you won't have any roads maintained. You won't be able to expand or do it. You might be able to be grandfathered into what you're doing right now, but nothing else, right? And that's right. The infrastructure will be left alone.
Yes, that's right. And so even in the east, you have conservation easements, and so landowners in the east have placed their lands in conservation easements, which effectively means that no development can happen, and they do this to get a tax benefit. But over time, because it's in perpetuity, that land, the use of the land when you entered into a conservation easement cannot change. But the subjective nature of creating a sustainable agriculture or sustainable land going forward means that land can be placed in a natural asset company. These conservation easements can go into a natural asset company without the landowner's consent, essentially. And so this really affects people in the east and the west. So, it's just under different designation.
Yeah, and it will affect all of us because our food prices will go through the roof.
Absolutely.
And good luck going to a national park. Let me ask you this. How is the New York Stock Exchange pushing for this? Because what this natural asset company, this whole new category, it is non-economic. The land that they would buy as a private entity must support only replenishable activities. So that means that they can only replenish the land. They can't have any economic activity on it. It's assigned an arbitrary value, and then it's traded on that. But you cannot make profit on this. So who would be buying the stock for this? Because you're not going to make money.
Well, you're not going to make money through traditional economic activity. But if companies have to be net zero, let's say you're emitting a lot of carbon, then you will have an incentive to buy into natural asset companies that will provide potentially carbon offsets through these natural processes.
Right.
That's one way to drive artificial value.
So I am putting a lot of pollution up in the air, but if I buy part of Yellowstone or part of Montana that can no longer be developed, then I can use that and say, yeah, but I've got all these trees producing all this fresh air.
Exactly.
This is so evil. This is so incredibly evil.
Yeah, we've thought of natural processes as sort of God-given, right? And you and I are walking carbon emitters. I mean, when we breathe out, we're emitting 4% carbon. And so what happens when each of us individually have a carbon footprint that we have to offset? The wealthy can easily do it. They just go out and buy, access to NACs. But it's the poorest among us. Suddenly, are they going to have to pay for their carbon emission? And then that is going to incentivize car reduction. Getting people out of cars and walking and bicycles and things like that. I mean, you can see where this goes.
Yeah, most importantly, this gives a public-private partnership a chance to enrich all of the very wealthy anyway. And it is like, what was it that almost brought us down in 2008? Derivatives. It's like derivatives. Mm-hmm. You're selling garbage. You're not selling anything. Nobody really owns anything if you keep selling, these derivatives. It's a scam. This is the same thing at a global scale.
Well, and you think about what is America? What's one of the greatest assets of America? It's our natural resources. They're incredible, and this allows not just wealthy investors, but we're talking about countries like China or Russia or Iran, whomever, that has a ton of money in these sovereign wealth funds to buy into a natural asset company because they'll raise money globally.
Oh. If I am in China and I want to cripple the United States, I just take West Texas and I buy up all of it in one of these companies, and they can no longer drill.
That's right. That's exactly right.
We're suicidal. We're absolutely suicidal. Okay, so there is a public comment period, right? And it's right now, and it's been shortened, and surprise everybody during the holiday season. So is that for the average person? Can they go online or call or what?
Yes, absolutely. So, I'm telling people to contact their federal legislators, their state legislators, to have them reach out to the SEC. So people can reach out to the SEC, but also encourage your legislators to reach out to the SEC and even the New York Stock Exchange. Contact your governor, your attorney general, even the state treasurer. They need to take action to oppose this, and you can reach out to the SEC directly. There's 5 commissioners.
Will it be too late after January? Because they say they're going to decide by January 2nd.
Well, they could decide. One of the decisions could be to extend the decision out further.
Okay.
So that's why I'm hoping that we raise enough awareness and pushback that it makes it difficult for them to finalize this on January 2nd. But, the fuse is incredibly short.
It's incredible.
And it's by design.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And it's, once again, the destruction of everything that what is America about if you can't come here, buy a piece of land, and do what you want to do with it? Well, what is America about? This goes back to Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030, where they're trying to push everybody into the cities. And this will do it. This will do it.
And this is a whole of government approach. You see all of these agencies, the Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife, BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, all of these agencies are pushing this agenda. Now the SEC, right, and the SEC, of course, with ESG, but this just takes it to a whole nother level. But you see the entire government apparatus pushing this goal really to permanently stop essential economic activity on our land and really lock up our natural resources. It's incredibly destructive.
Marlo, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We'll talk to you again. Marlo Oaks, he is the treasurer of Utah who brought this to my attention. It needs critical attention right now. We're going to have this section of the show clipped. We'll put it out online. Please share it with everyone. Share it with every legislator and senator you can find. Make sure they know about it. Make sure your friends know about it. This is a way to lock up all public and private lands. It's obscene and evil, and it's got to stop. And they will decide by January 20th, unless, as he said, we kick up a storm and make sure that our legislators, state and federal, are calling and saying, no, not so fast, not so fast. They've got to call the SEC. So here's the thing. You are telling your congressman or whoever about the natural asset company that the New York Stock Exchange is creating along with the SEC. The SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, cannot allow for the creation of this kind of a company. They cannot do it. Call